What's up, guys? Raziel here, and we're a week into, just about finished with the first week of Shadowlands since its official launch, and this is going to be my spoiler-free and completely unbiased review. So let's just stop around and do the drop and get started.
I am Raziel.
Alright, guys, so Shadowlands. We're about finished with the first week, and I thought it was high time I gave my review about what I think so far. Is it good? Is World of Warcraft Shadowlands worth it so far? I know it's kind of early, and again, take everything I say with a grain of salt. I highly recommend you experience things yourself before making a decision. Don't just, take a YouTuber's word for it, but I'm going to give you my opinion and what I think as quickly as possible so as to not waste your fucking time. And, as if we don't already have tons of stuff to do and places to be when we're in the midst of a global pandemic and every last one of us is sitting at home with our thumbs firmly planted up our own asses. So we might as well play some video games. Anyway, the good. So far, and I have to make this first and foremost, the stability. The stability of this launch was ridiculously good. The best it's ever been. And I've experienced the beginning of every single expansion launch for World of Warcraft, with the exception of Battle for Azeroth. I wasn't there at the start of that one. But this has been so smooth. I had no issues, practically no issues the first night, no queues, and I'm on a heavy full server. No queues, very, very few bugs, if any, no disconnects. The only issues I really had were a couple, error loading instances on the second day of playing, which was resolved within 10 or 15 minutes of me encountering them. Overall, a very insanely smooth launch. Everybody that was in my guild and my friends that were all playing were able to play with each other without any issues. Next up, the story. The story for a WoW story is good. Okay, now this is no Final Fantasy 14 or other, RPG levels of good. It's still a WoW Blizzard story, which, by default is pretty poor. And I expect the vast majority of the best story bits are going to be found in books. They will be sold to you later. But overall, the story was dramatically better than BFA. As good, if not better, than Legion. A lot of stuff. There's a lot of Easter eggs and things you can find in the Shadowlands of characters that we've killed. And the voice acting has been phenomenal. It's definitely one of WoW's better stories, and I know narrative has never been something WoW has been good at, and that's still true, but for a WoW story, it's good, so I'm putting it in the good category. The music, man, this expansion has been phenomenal, along with the aesthetic. I'm putting the aesthetic in here. They've both been incredible. Again, WoW's media and art team is carrying the load for Blizzard and has been for a long time. The music and the art has been phenomenal. This one actually came to me out of nowhere, as I'm super used to joining in World of Warcraft and being able to rush through any content, all the content that's available, and never really having any difficulty at all. But the difficulty this time around has actually surprised me, especially once you get into mythic dungeons. The mechanics you can't just ignore. They're far more involved. And now I know that a big part of this is because we're under-geared, and we're also don't have all of the systems and covenants and conduits unlocked, which are going to make dungeons and doing things much, much easier. But for just starting out in the first week, it's pretty fucking challenging. It's pretty hard. For an average player, I would say it's going to struggle more than they have in the past, which I think is welcome. Make people actually see some shit and actually pay attention to mechanics for once, and not just climb in somebody's backpack and get carried. So the difficulty was another good thing. And this is included with just doing general quests. Some stuff is a little harder than we're used to. We can't just space roll, steamroll everything like we have been in the past. Another good positive thing, the classes feel far more rounded out than in BFA than they did with the additions that they added back into classes. For example, the abilities I got as my Death Knight that I can use now, such as even on Blood, I can still have a pet out, and doing Sacrifice and Dark Pact, things like that. All the classes feel much more balanced in terms of full, I guess. And I know the balance is going to be a huge issue, but yeah, it feels a lot better than it did in BFA to play the classes that I have experienced so far. I may be a one-off here. People may disagree with me. If you do, leave your comments down below. But I feel the class overall, it feels fuller. And the nice thing is most of the stuff we'll get in our conduits as we unlock them aren't actually outright more abilities to add to the bar. They just add special effects to abilities we already have, or just increase raw percentages of crit, that type of thing, which I think is not going to change how the class feels. It's just going to make you stronger. Another big positive I want to put out there, because I was in the beta, but I didn't really get a chance to experience it because I didn't want to spoil it for myself, is Torghast. I'm having a blast in Torghast. It's a lot of fun getting these abilities and just walking in, and if you make your right decisions as you go through Torghast, just raffle stomping every motherfucker in there, just, you know, it's awesome. It's a lot of fun to feel OP, and a lot of people's, you know, pussy ass argument of, oh yeah, well, players are gonna go in there and crush things and then go out and want the same power outside of Torghast is completely untrue. I don't feel that way at all. I don't anyway, and if you do, then you need to get your fucking head checked, because that's not how games work. But I think Torghast is fantastic. A fantastic addition. Now, will it last? Will it stay this way? Will I keep this opinion throughout the expansion's life? Because again, we're only 1 week in. I don't know. We'll have to see. Okay, now moving on to the bad. So right out of the gate, time gating. Right out of the gate, no pun intended. Yeah, there's the time gating is still here and strong as ever. I mean, time gating has been a thing since weekly lockout, since WoW's inception. However, it's gotten worse and worse and worse over time. I'm not a fan of time gating. I think it is a potential solution to the problem of one end of the extreme, and it's a block to a problem on the other end of the extreme. Both ends of the extreme having people in them that are fucking retarded, and I'm gonna tell you what it is. So on the one end of this, you know, the time gating extreme are the people that hate equality of opportunity and are all about equality of outcome. You know, this is the guy who, you know, he bought the WoW expansion, but he's upset that he can't play as much as his friend down the street, and so instead of just, you know, because it was, you know, his wife who pulled the pin on the fat grenade 15 years ago, and his snotty-nosed little kids completely domineer and control his life, while his wife has his balls in a jar on top of the refrigerator, along with a gun that he wishes was in his own mouth. He's upset because he can't play as much as his friends can, and so therefore he wants to hamstring his friends, has Blizzard hamstring his friends by time gating all the new systems. So the conduits, the covenants, everything are time gated to hell, or you're earning legendaries. You know, the days of in an MMO you can progress as much as you have time and put effort into it are long gone. We've known this for a while. Then on the other end of the extreme, you have the world first racers who still don't understand that no one gives a fat flying fuck if they beat a raid first. No one cares. No one looks them up on the internet to see who beat and how they can be like them. No one gives a shit. But then these people have the argument of, well, time gating needs to be removed because, well, even time gating either needs to be removed, which I think it should be removed, and people should just go at whatever pace they want. Equality of opportunity, not equality of outcome, right? But then we have the people even on the other far end of the extreme that say, hey, time gating is a good thing because if it wasn't time gated, we'd all the mythic first racers would feel that they had to play to be competitive. You know, you don't have to do anything. It's a fucking video game. If you know, need to be restrained by a company to keep yourself from no-lifing something because you are so dedicated to being the first to beat something and no one gives a shit about that, probably not even the people you're playing with as much as you do, seek fucking mental help. That's all I'm going to say. I think either end of the extreme. I think time gating myself is stupid. It shouldn't be a thing. You should be able to progress as much as you want. I mean, you all paid the same price of admission to buy the game. You should be able to progress at whatever pace you are able to. And if you can't play as much as somebody else because of real life responsibilities, well, guess what? That's fucking real life. That's how life fucking works. Anyway, rant over. Another bad thing that I've been seeing is the scaling is a little broken right now, especially if you're trying to solo old raids. So Legion raids and shit you used to be able to solo fairly easily on certain classes now are much harder to solo, which I think is just a scaling problem that Blizzard is going to address here in the next month or so. Obviously it's not the highest of their highest priorities, but it is something I know is going to get solved, that they're aware of. So yeah, if you like to farm for transmog, just be patient, it's going to get fixed. But anyways, that's pretty much sums up how I feel. Overall, the conclusion is so far I'm really enjoying myself. I'm enjoying the difficulty, the story for what it's worth. The stability's been fantastic. Again, everything, the classes feel better to play. I feel challenged a little bit, but we'll see. Will this last? All I know for sure is how I and many other people that actually did experience BFA, because I did not at its inception, say this is far, far, far better. And I'm inclined to agree, having since played BFA after returning to WoW. And man, Shadowlands feels so much better than BFA. So far, even feels better than Legion did to me. And I did play Legion from the start. Now, I don't think any WoW expansion is ever going to reach the greatness that is Burning Crusade or Wrath of the Lich King, and I've long lost hope for that. But overall, this is good. I would recommend giving it a shot if you're on the fence about whether you're going to play it or not. I say give it a shot. See how it feels to you, because right now, so far, it's feeling and looking quite good. But anyway, guys, this has been Razio. Twitch link up on the screen now. I do stream twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week. 2 days are dedicated. You can always see my stream schedule on my actual Twitch page. I thank everybody so much for support. Make sure you guys follow, and if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And I've noticed that probably 89% of the people that watch my videos aren't subscribed, so stop being a lazy bitch and subscribe. And if not, and you can just tell me to go fuck myself, then maybe I will. But as always, my friends, keep it real.